Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a structured literacy dyslexia specialist. And for today's PD and Pieces, we're going to go over a science of reading aligned spelling procedure. We are going to learn a procedure that's going to help kids not spell words haphazardly, but instead follow a procedure that will lead to more accurate spelling. So let's get right to it. So, our procedure today involves segmenting for spelling. And in order to understand that, you need to know what segmenting is. That is the ability to break a word down into its individual sounds or phonemes. Remember, phoneme is an expert term for sounds. Okay, and so segmenting is really key to spelling success. If you think about spelling or the process of encoding, this is a speech to print process where kids are going to hear words or say words and then have to figure out how to spell those words. And so, in order to spell the words effectively, they must be able to break the words down into individual phonemes, then match those phonemes to the corresponding graphemes, letter or letter combinations, in order to spell words effectively. So, we want to have a procedure that follows and encourages segmenting. Consistent procedures, as you know, is essential for student success. On the next slide, I'm going to show you the specific procedure that I use with my students step by step so that you can implement it as well.
Today we're going to spell the word pet. Repeat the word, students. Pet. Now we're going to segment the sounds. For every sound that you hear in the word, you're going to draw a sound line. So, eh, t. Good. I hear 3 sounds, which means I must have 3 graphemes. So we're going to match the sounds to those letters. We're going to write 1 grapheme for every sound that we hear. So, p, e, e, t, t. Now I'm going to check it and I'm going to blend those sounds together to see if I've included every sound and spelled the word correctly. Et, pet, pet. Excellent. This is a great procedure to teach students as they are spelling 1-syllable words. Now, what happens when they get more advanced and they're spelling 2 or 3-syllable words? Well, we add an extra step to this procedure. So what we do is we count the syllables. So today I want you to spell the word jackpot. How many syllables in jackpot? Jack, pot. 2 syllables. So what we do is we draw syllable lines. But then we go back to the other procedure where we then are isolating each sound within each syllable. So how many sounds do we hear in the first syllable? Jack. J, a, k. I hear 3 sounds. How many sounds in the second syllable? Pot. Ah, t. Now we go ahead and match the sounds to the symbol. So jack. J, a, k. Pot. Ah, t. Now we blend the sounds within each syllable together. Jack, jack, ot, hot, jack, hot. You can do this with 1-syllable, 2-syllable, 3-syllable, even 4-syllable words. It helps to ensure that students include a written grapheme for every sound heard in every word.
Now that you've seen the segmenting for spelling procedure in action, you might be asking, well, when do we use this procedure? You want to use it all the time, okay? So whether you're doing whole group, whether you're doing small group instruction, you definitely want to teach kids to use this strategy. And do it together, model it a lot until the kids are automatically spelling words following this procedure, words that they don't know, right? If they know the word, no worries. They are going to write it automatically. But until it becomes automatic, until it's been orthographically mapped into their mind, they should be using this procedure. Definitely, you want to use it in intervention settings with students who are struggling. You want to use this routine during dictation, during your phonics lesson. And you want to see kids then ultimately start using this routine independently, right? So whether they're at literacy centers or doing word work tasks, when they're sitting at their desks, when they're at home, you want them segmenting for spelling because it will lead them to spelling success. Now, quickly, let's go over some tips for success. For kids who need scaffolds, you can use multisensory tools like sound boxes. These are awesome, right? If they can't necessarily count the sounds, you can tell them how many sounds there are. And that's when they can go ahead and use the sound boxes to match the sounds to the spellings. You also want to make sure as you're introducing new phonics concepts that you use controlled word lists, right? At first, you want to stick to these decodable, phonetically regular words where kids are explicitly matching the sounds that they hear to the letters that represent those sounds. And then you also want to make sure you're not sitting down for an hour making kids practice this procedure. You want to practice in short bursts, use it during both reading and writing time, and really whenever students need help spelling a word that they don't know. So the next time that your students are stuck guessing at spelling, remember, teach them and reteach and model and reteach this segmenting for spelling routine, right? You're going to give them a very powerful tool that they can use every single day, no matter where they are. And as you teach this routine and use this routine consistently in your classroom, you're going to watch your students grow as confident and capable spellers. So thanks so much for joining us and come back soon.